Oh my god, you guys. Mandalorian was fucking epic today. So, total spoilers, and if you haven't seen it, then fucking stop watching this right goddamn now. Go fucking watch it, and then come back and fucking watch this. So, a bunch of huge fucking things. First of all, the fact that Jango Fett was a foundling is a huge reveal. Because back in the Clone Wars, the Prime Minister, or whoever the fuck, I can't remember exactly his name, of Mandalore, tells Obi-Wan Kenobi that Jango Fett is nothing but a bounty hunter. So he's either fucking wrong or lying, or has been, misinformed somehow. He was a pretty shady guy anyway, so we can just assume that he was lying, and that's big fucking news. So Jango Fett was a Mandalorian, but he just didn't really take the creed. He probably at some point said, okay, screw that, I'm out, and just went to become a kick-ass bounty hunter with all the skills that he had learned. Which, whatever. You're gonna judge if you're kind of, you can't really judge a guy going out and finding his way in the galaxy, so he didn't want to take the Mandalorian way. He pretty much lived it anyway, so maybe he does follow the creed, or did, Jango anyway. Obviously, Boba is not Mandalorian by any creed or anything. But maybe he'll take the way, though, because that is fucking huge. So now, Boba Fett and what's-her-face, I don't even fucking care that I can't remember her name. Just fucking phenomenal that they're all teaming up. So then, going back to get Giancarlo, and then hopefully maybe they'll even get Reef Karga to come along, and then so obviously he's putting a team together to go and get the kid back. Dark Troopers confirmed. That's huge. So not only are they Dark Troopers, but they are essentially Phase 2 Dark Troopers. So they're a little bit more than just regular ass skeletons. But the Phase 3 Dark Troopers were gigantic. So, and also they were designed to be exosuits. So these are very clearly droids, not exosuits. So there's no human element at all. It's just a droid, a super kick-ass stormtrooper droid, with jetpacks. So we will be very interested to see how that progresses. So this calls back to the other piece of the previous episode where they're back on Navarro and they're in the Imperial lab. So if they're not using Grogu's blood for the Dark Trooper program, then they are probably using it for the cloning program of Emperor Palpatine and all that fun stuff that's going along. So there's a good chance that none of that is actually complete yet. Or it's possible that they are trying to move on to the other phase of a different Dark Trooper program, which actually infused force powers into stormtroopers. So that might be, because the Dark Trooper program does have phases. So we obviously haven't seen Phase 1. We've skipped Phase 1 entirely. Unless they're trying to say that's Phase 1. And if that's Phase 1, then that's fucking deadly. That's brutal, gang. Like, if that's Phase 1, then holy shit, we're in trouble. Because Phase 2 would just be, like, incredibly more difficult. But we all know that Din Djarin hates droids, so we'll see how it goes. Obviously, he knows how to kick droids' ass. So if there was one good person to put up against some Dark Troopers just without any experience at all, then it would probably be Din Djarin or somebody else like him who really knows how to take apart droids. So anyway, let's see what else we got in the episode. Oh yeah, Grogu on the Seeing Stone. Finally, he had to meditate and reach out with the Force for it to activate. But this might lead to a series of events where whoever comes looking for him goes to the temple, sees that there was just something just went down, a bunch of dead stormtroopers, a big blown up, like a big crater where a ship might, a wreckage from a ship was, and so whoever comes looking might then take the next step to try and figure out, okay, let's reach out and in the Force and follow their instincts and let the Force guide them and blah, 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 blah. And maybe that'll lead to Din Djarin. Or maybe they will intersect, both trying to rescue Grogu at the same time or within a short succession of each other. So we got a lot of interesting things going on here, gang. But I mean, Mando's only got his Beskar staff, and it's funny because he put the jetpack down. We know he has remote controls to get the jetpack to come back to him. He can't necessarily get it to come onto his back with remote controls, but he could. You would think at some point in that fight he would have just like, hey, jetpack, okay, sweet, woo, because it would have made everything so much easier. Anyway, so just a fucking awesome episode. Boba Fett out of left fucking field. Holy shit, he just looks up and there's Slave One just coming right in. Oh my fucking god, gang. Epic goddamn episode. So we'll see a couple of things to think about, though. Moff Gideon should be ahead. Moff Gideon should outrank Thrawn. So it'll be interesting to see if he mentions Thrawn at all, or if Thrawn's on a totally separate project, or if Thrawn might not even... He might have his own sect of the Empire, because in a lot of the expanded universe, the Empire didn't just necessarily fall apart, it fractured. So then you had multiple successors vying for power. So Thrawn could be a competitor of Moff Gideon, and they might not actually be working together. So it'll be really interesting to see if Thrawn comes into play in The Mandalorian, or if that whole Ahsoka Tano Thrawn story is going to be saved for Rebels, or the possibility that they'll do an Ahsoka Tano show. I mean, it's going to have to be a continuation of the Rebels storyline. So you might as well just call it Star Wars Rebels. If they're going to do it live action, then I guess they might want to change the title. I don't know. But essentially, it's just following up on the Star Wars Rebels storyline. So whatever they're going to call it and however it's going to look, that's what it's going to be. And I still think that Filoni's comment saying that that Star Wars isn't linear is a direct reference to the World Between Worlds, and that when he says that it's a possibility that the events happen after the episode that we've seen is a possibility. I think he's just trying to make it like, I think he's trying to throw everybody for a loop, but the real important part is that it's not linear. Star Wars isn't linear. So, okay, my fucking mind's blown. I'm gonna rewatch The Mandalorian because that was fucking epic. I mean, the awesome fight scene. I mean, with, God, all I can think of is her name from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., May, but I know that's not her. Epic sharpshooting, and just like, one of the things that I really like about what they're doing with The Mandalorian is in a lot of ways they're bringing fights that you've had in all the different Star Wars games that we've had over the years right there. And they're such good representations, because if you've played, Battlegrounds or, Fallen Jedi or some of these games, or any of the older games like the Dark Forces Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast series, or there's so many Star Wars games out there. I can't even friggin', and then the Knights of the Old Republic series, you've had these epic battles with stormtroopers and stuff. And what we get in the movies is, the prequels was just like, holy shit, there's a million fucking people fighting right now. And then the Jedi, the lightsaber fights were epic. But, in terms of just straight up blaster fight scenes, Rogue One was really good for that. But we don't really have a huge number of examples where it's just that kind of, all of you are gonna die. And then Boba Fett comes in with his armor back on and just fucking wrecks everybody. I mean, he was wrecking everybody before he had his armor back with his Tusken Raider gear. But fucking, holy shit, dude. Epic episode. Well done, Filoni and Favreau. Just fucking well done. I cannot wait to see what comes next. So I guess we'll leave it at that. Tiger Mike out.